Hello, Car Bloke Billy Smith here to talk to you about engineering with diecast. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the Bugatti EB110, this one on the right with no wing, and the Bugatti EB110 SS with a big wing. Obviously these are not to scale, so the SS wasn't a lot smaller, but it was a lot faster. Anyway, a little bit of history about the Bugatti EB110. It was during a time when Bugatti was in fact an Italian company, despite being one of the most iconic French companies in the world. It was owned by an Italian entrepreneur called Romano Artioli, and he purchased the company in 1987 and decided that he wanted to make a car that would bring Bugatti into the modern era, because there hadn't been a new car by Bugatti since the 50s when the car had gone bust. He decided that he didn't want to borrow a chassis or anything from any other car companies, so he decided to make it completely from scratch. This car came with a 3.5 litre 60 valve quad turbocharged V12 that has 560 horsepower at 8,000 RPM and 450 pound-feet of torque at 4,200 RPM. And they were absolutely astonishing at the time. They're still astonishing today. And let's compare it to the F40, which was the fastest car in the world at the time. And that had a 2.9 litre V8, which was quite small, and it only offered 471 horsepower compared to 560. It was absolutely astonishing. And all four wheels were powered by this incredible engine. There was a 6-speed manual transmission, and there was a 3.3 second 0 to 62 mile an hour quoted by the manufacturer, and 212 miles an hour top speed apparently. But this is the standard EB110, remember, and that was not a bare bones track car. It had certain things inside. It had soundproof material and air conditioning and power operated seats, which kind of paved the way for the Veyron and the Chiron, as in being kind of luxurious despite being extraordinarily fast. And that's still made to this day. To this day, there is still that air of comfort to their extraordinarily fast cars. Now, despite being a very fast car already, Bugatti knew that some of the customers would want something completely bare bones, and therefore they made the EB110 SS. And apparently this car reached 218 miles an hour on the Nardo track in southern Italy. This was in 1994, remember. And this car still had the same 3.5 litre V12, but it increased the horsepower to 611 horsepower at 8,250 RPM and 480 pound-feet of torque at 4,200 RPM. And this is the car that Bugatti used to set records all over the world, and it set the way for all subsequent hypercars, you could say. Now, I'm just going to show you a few physical differences of the Bugatti EB110 SS to the EB110. First of all, you can see that there is a window, a rear portion of window here, but on this car there are holes, there are vents to allow air in. Both cars look vaguely similar though. They both have the same front design, although the SS is a lot more, well, from this angle at least, it looks a lot more aggressive. Also, as I've already mentioned, there is a big wing on the back, unlike the standard EB110, but the standard EB110 did have a wing that came up when the engine was turned on. After they had made the EB110, Bugatti wanted to make another car called the EB112, which was presented as a concept at the 1993 Geneva Motor Show, and it was a really big saloon with a fastback sort of roofline and a 6 litre V12 mounted at the front. It was apparently going to deliver 460 horsepower. As you can see, the EB112 isn't the most attractive car ever, but actually I kind of like it, and I kind of wish that they would make it. Sadly, this car was never made, although I would kind of like it to, I would quite kind of have liked to see this car designed, and I would much prefer it if they did something like this, rather than the, or an SUV, or something like that, which they could well do, at this point. But, yeah, this, the EB112 was never made, which is sad, but the EB110 was, and that's the car that I'm focusing on right now. Now, the EB110 is not particularly well known. It's more well known now, but in the past, after it was made, it wasn't well known until far more recently. The Veyron and the Chiron definitely helped with that, but it didn't have much in the way of high prices. It was still $200,000, but that wasn't very much, especially for this sort of car, bearing in mind other Bugatti models are well into the millions. Nowadays, these cars are selling, the EB110s are selling for 2.3 million, or one of them has at least, and it's likely that these prices are just going to go up. But at first, these cars were wildly undervalued, and if anyone was lucky enough to purchase one during that time, then they were extraordinarily lucky. Anyway, while I'm here, I might as well do a quick review of the models themselves. First of all, I'll go for this Maisto 1:38 scale EB110 standard form GT. It comes with scissor doors, which close, but that's partly because it's not brand new. I did buy it second hand. The wheels, the detailing on the wheels, very accurate to real life, and the EB110's wheels are, in fact, very iconic, especially in my opinion, at least. Inside, it is grey all over. You can see through the windscreen and in the boot where the engine is. It is entirely grey, except for the steering wheel, which is black. Now, I'm not hugely bothered by that, but it's not the most detailed interior in the world. There's not much going on in there. Either way, it's quite nice, and the main reason I did buy it was because of these scissor door opening, because I just thought it's really cool, and I have bought multiple models due to the fact that they have interesting openings in terms of doors. Now, onto the Hot Wheels McDonald's paint scheme EB110 SS. This wasn't the one that I was hoping to get. I was hoping to get a blue one, but I couldn't find any blue ones, so I went for the yellow one with red interior, hence the McDonald's paint scheme. That is how that paint scheme goes. Anyway, in terms of the back, at the back you can see there's headlights. There is, in fact, a number plate. There is a reasonable amount of detail in this car at the back. At the front, not quite as much detail. They've got the basic casting correct, but they haven't painted any of the vents. And inside, it's the same story as the standard one here. It's completely red. There's not much detailing, but you do get the idea. You can tell that it is in fact an EB110, and it's a very nice model. Both of them are very nice models. I do like them very much. Anyway, thank you very much for watching my video. If you enjoyed this engineering with diecast video, then please do like. If you like the rest of my channel, please do subscribe, and please comment on other things that you would like to see, because I'm really not sure, and that would be very helpful. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye, see you next time.